Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Luna reacts with horror as a sobbing Poppy takes the blame for her landing in bed with Zende. Today on The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke reassures RJ, Eric gives Zende a pep talk, and Poppy's worst fears are confirmed. In the Forrester office, RJ shares his concerns about Luna with Brooke. If she's not feeling well, he'd like to be there to help take care of her. Brooke reminds him she has her mom to look after her. Brooke asks him if he and Luna argued. He says nothing at all like that happened. He doesn't remember her being upset. Brooke assures that Luna's mother will take care of her. In the Forrester guest house, Zende flashes to sex with Luna and starts taking deep breaths. Eric walks in and asks, "What's wrong?" Zende's glad he stopped in and congratulates him again on his marriage. Eric talks about how great it was last night, surprising everyone, especially Donna. He thinks Zende seems a little down this morning. Zende claims he has a stomachache. Eric teases, "Feeling the effects of last night, are you?" Zende and Eric keep talking about the engagement and wedding. Zende says it was badass. Eric's tickled by this. Zende doesn't know how he managed it all. Eric says being married to a younger woman is energizing. Zende's happy for him. Eric tells Zende he should hydrated, but his grandson insists he's not hungover. Eric muses that everyone was drinking champagne last night. He's just glad there were no slip-ups. Zende and Eric keep talking about the engagement and wedding. Zende says it was badass. Eric's tickled by this. Zende doesn't know how he managed it all. Eric says being married to a younger woman is energizing. Zende's happy for him. Eric tells Zende he should hydrated, but his grandson insists he's not hungover. Eric muses that everyone was drinking champagne last night. He's just glad there were no slip-ups. After a shower in the apartment, Luna asks Poppy how she could do this to the most wonderful guy. Poppy sits next to her and says, "I'm so sorry. I hope you can forgive me." Luna, confused, asks what her mother is talking about. "I'm the one who slept with Zende. How is this possibly your fault?" Poppy tells her she's so sorry, but I think I know what happened to you last night. After a shower in the apartment, Luna asks Poppy how she could do this to the most wonderful guy. Poppy sits next to her and says, "I'm so sorry. I hope you can forgive me." Luna, confused, asks what her mother is talking about. "I'm the one who slept with Zende. How is this possibly your fault?" Poppy tells her she's so sorry, but I think I know what happened to you last night. In the Forrester office, RJ goes on to Brooke about how strange it is for Luna not to message him first thing in the morning. Then when she did pick up, she had a weird tone. "Maybe she's mad at me." Brooke reassures him and giggles over them meeting at the Forrester mansion just as she and Ridge did. She muses that they've had their ups and downs but will always have that intense connection. She hopes RJ and Luna's road will be much smoother. RJ says they're annoyingly compatible. Brooke muses that there are always setbacks and challenges. RJ would like to avoid drama with Luna if he could. RJ wants to protect Luna from their family drama. It's like they attract it. Brooke laughs that he is half Logan and half Forrester. RJ would just like to tone it down a little bit. Brooke doubts he and Luna will make the same mistakes as her and Ridge. RJ has never had a connection with a woman like this before. I just trust her completely. Brooke is so happy for him. In the guest house, Eric assures Zende that the girl for him is out there. Zende believes that. Eric reflects that he's shared his life with some incredible women, the amazing Stephanie, and now his wife Donna. He repeats that Zende will find his love and will treat her with love, kindness, and respect. You'll make her very happy. In Poppy's apartment, Luna goes on about seeing RJ's face and protests that there is no explanation. No one at the Forrester estate would drug her. Poppy asks, "Do you remember earlier when you said you had some mints?" Luna says, "Yeah, I always do." Poppy opens Luna's purse, pulls out the mints and starts to wail and sob. "Oh my God. Oh no, no, no. I messed up so bad, baby, and I'm so sorry. These are my mints. I couldn't find them." Luna asks what it has to do with her. Poppy cries, everything. She explains that she gets. Luna's heart pounded like a drum against her ribcage as she stumbled into her room, the air thick with tension. She couldn't believe what she had just witnessed. Her mind whirled with confusion and disbelief. each thought crashing against the next like waves against rocks in a tempestuous sea. Zende, her boyfriend, stood frozen in the center of the room, his eyes wide with shock and guilt. Luna's gaze flickered to the figure huddled on the bed, her best friend, Poppy, sobbing uncontrollably, her face buried in her hands. What's going on? Luna's voice trembled as she spoke, her whole body shaking with a mixture of anger and hurt. Zen's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water, but no words came out. He looked like a deer caught in headlights, trapped and vulnerable. Luna's eyes darted between them, searching for answers that she feared to find, and then it hit her like a ton of bricks. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place with sickening clarity, and she felt like she might be sick. You too? Luna's voice trailed off, unable to articulate the betrayal that clawed at her insides. Poppy's sobs grew louder, more desperate, as if she could cry away the guilt that weighed her down. But Luna couldn't bear to look at her, couldn't bear to see the pain etched into her features, a stark reflection of her own agony. Zende finally found his voice, but it was weak, barely a whisper in the charged atmosphere of the room. Luna, I can explain. But Luna didn't want to hear his explanations, didn't want to listen to his pathetic attempts to justify his betrayal. She felt like she was drowning, suffocating under the weight of their deception. How could you? Luna's voice rose, sharp and cutting through the air like a knife. How could you do this to me, to us? Zende's shoulders slumped, his facade crumbling under Luna's accusing gaze. I don't know, it was a mistake. I swear, it meant nothing. But Luna couldn't bring herself to believe him, couldn't shake the feeling that their entire relationship had been built on lies. She turned away from him, unable to bear the sight of him any longer. Poppy's sobs had turned into choked gasps, her entire body shaking with the force of her emotions. Luna felt a pang of sympathy for her friend, but it was quickly drowned out by the overwhelming sense of betrayal that consumed her. Why? Luna whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of Poppy's cries. Poppy lifted her head, her eyes red and swollen from crying. I'm sorry, Luna. I'm so sorry. Luna's breath caught in her throat as she looked into Poppy's tear-streaked face. She wanted to hate her, wanted to scream and shout and lash out at the person who had hurt her so deeply. But all she felt was a deep, aching sadness, a sense of loss that threatened to swallow her whole. I didn't mean for this to happen, Poppy continued, her words tumbling out in a rush. It was stupid and reckless, and I'll never forgive myself for it. Luna felt a flicker of anger stir within her, a spark of resentment at the ease with which Poppy tried to absolve herself of guilt. But it was quickly extinguished by the realization that they were both victims in this twisted game of betrayal. Get out, Luna whispered, her voice barely audible over the pounding of her own heart. Poppy's eyes widened in shock, her mouth falling open in disbelief. Luna, please. But Luna couldn't bear to listen to her pleas, couldn't stand to look at the person who had destroyed everything she held dear. She turned away from Poppy, her eyes burning with unshed tears, and focused all her attention on Zende. You too, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. Get out of my sight. Zende opened his mouth as if to protest, but Luna cut him off with a glare that could have frozen fire. Without another word, he turned and stumbled out of the room, leaving Luna alone with her shattered heart. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the sound of Luna's ragged breathing and the echo of her own thoughts. She sank to the floor, her legs too weak to support her, and buried her face in her hands. She had never felt so alone, so utterly betrayed by the people she had trusted most in the world, and as the tears finally began to fall, she wondered if she would ever be able to pick up the pieces of her broken heart and put them back together again.